Good evening, America. I'm Rob the accountant, and I'm a real Democrat. Real Democrat, in its simplest terms, is just a person who tries to put other people first, tries to make other people happy, tries to make other people's lives a little bit easier. Some of us are tasked in a little bit different manner. It's not so much about me as it is that there is joy in helping others. And so, as an American, it just is completely baffling that my government wants to steal land from another country. Not only that, let's just jump over to President Donald Trump's comment that he challenges the ownership of Greenland because a boat went there. All right, well, if we're going to challenge ownership, why aren't we challenging the ownership of America? The Indians were clearly way more in numbers. We were immigrating, illegally, by the way. Yes, we were immigrating to the great United States of America illegally. When we got here, there was a culture, there was a people here. There were many cultures of people, primarily named Indians, that were here living their lives just fine. And we got here, and the people who got here, again, this is English descendants, okay, not any brown people from Africa, not even Middle Eastern people from the Middle East, which I think it's called South Asia, by the way. It's not really called the Middle East. That's a colonialism term. I learned that a couple weeks ago. But nobody from South America, maybe a couple people, because Mexico was part of the United States, right? But I'm just saying, don't you think that if we're going to challenge claims to other countries having ownership of land, maybe we should start with ourselves? I mean, is that really unbelievable to say, hey, that maybe what we should really be talking about here and what we should really be asking is, why does the United States of America need to take Greenland? Well, I'll tell you why. Because for 200 years, the United States, primarily in the last 100 years, has stuck its finger into every single world conflict to thwart its people of that land that they're sticking their finger in, steal their resources, and make the people there subservient to the wishes of the United States of America. And I just don't understand how, if you're born in America, you have this inalienable right to freedom, to speech, to due process, to not have your shit taken by somebody. Like, seriously? This is basic concepts 101. I mean, you can't just take somebody's car, you can't take their sneakers, you can't take their freaking house. But hey, our government's gonna go jack another country's land. Because one, the president is very insecure, but two, is you gotta keep the war going somehow. Like, what are we doing? Like, the cost of food and healthcare, and even if you can get healthcare in America, is just ridiculously high. And so when you look at the context of our president and, Small Hands Rubio and him and Pete Hegseth, says, I'm the man's warrior. They're not paying for any of that. They're flying on our tax dollars, on our planes, all over the world, making deals that benefit them. That's what each administration does. They come in and they find ways to make deals that benefit them. There's no reason why a president should even get the $400,000 when they leave office anymore. I mean, they're going to be millionaires for the rest of their lives. Why are we giving them all that? We're going to give them Secret Service protection. We're going to give them their paycheck for the next 20 years. No, they seem to get into office and do whatever enriches them and makes everybody else have to pay, from housing to insurance crisis, to the .com, to Enron, to Bernie Madoff. Listen, in regards, Bernie Madoff shouldn't have even happened. There's no way in the world that any other person licensed by FINRA or the Security Administration, SEC, could have gotten away with what Bernie Madoff did. The only reason Bernie Madoff got away with things that he did is because the banks and the other people around him who are associated with that theft were making money off of his deceit, really off of him stealing money from Americans. And so why is he in prison? I mean, if we're going to have this idea that we can just take whatever we want in the world for everyone, then it should be what everyone can do. You can just walk into the bank, take their money out, walk in the grocery store, take all the groceries you need. This is what we're devolving America into. We're already a colonial imperialist state. Now we're going to just not even pretend that we have rights here or that nobody else matters. Well, this is why I keep saying America is not a Christian nation. I don't know what they are, but they sure as hell not a Christian nation. But this idea that we need to take Greenland and have it for our national security is not going to stop. Because the only way that you can have true national security is for the people who get into elective office to stop finding rage bait to bait, everybody into. I don't understand as an American why every other person in the world cannot live the same life that most Americans live, and even the poor people in this country live, because they get public assistance, food stamps, and Medicaid, right? They live damn near 95% the way everybody else lives, right? But it's okay for Americans to watch on TV, to go, oh, look at those beautiful bombs going off in Venezuela, and we don't like that guy. You killed people's families. We killed people in Iraq. We killed people in Afghanistan, although it was warranted in Afghanistan. When are we going to stop killing people, right? Why is our country so factoring on killing people or sexuality? It's killing people or sexuality. It's freaking awful. So I'm just saying that, I think honestly that the U.S. government should take a look at restoring all the land to Native Americans and the Indians first. That's really what I think. I think before the United States puts any money to take over Greenland, any money to try to buy Greenland, whatever, it seems like they don't want to sell it. So whatever position they want to try to push, which is going to cost the American taxpayers money, I think we should address the issues on every Native American reservation. And if at the minimum we don't want to address the issues on Native American reservations, then what we should allow them to do is get off the reservations. Native Americans should be allowed to keep their money and get off the reservations. They should get both. They shouldn't be locked to getting their assistance based on them staying in their space. This is not who we are. This is not American. This is not what our Constitution enshrines. And this is not the belief that every man is created equal and is a creation and of his creator, looks like his creator. That's what they say. God created us in his own image. So if that's the case, then we need to stop looking at our friends and our neighbors as enemies, and we need to stop killing people. I think as an American citizen, as a New Yorker, I think the United States of America has way more problems that it needs to address, way more issues, $38 trillion in debt. And which, by the way, you know what? I'll be honest with you on that one. I would like to be president one day, and I'll keep trying to run as much as I can until I don't have any money. But you know what I would do? I would wipe out all our debt. I would wipe out all of our debt, because you know what? If Mao, right, from World War II, if Mao, the Communist Party, had lost in World War II, the Chinese Civil War, if Mao had lost and he had fled to Taiwan, the Americans, the Japanese, and everybody in the world would have already killed Mao, and the land of Taiwan would be given back to the people who won the victory. But since Mao, the communist regime, won the end of World War II, America and its allies have pretended for the last 70 years that somehow Taiwan is not China's. So what I would say to China is I'd say, hey, you know what? We got $38 trillion worth of debt. You know what? Let's wipe it out. You're not allowed to invade Taiwan militarily, but you're allowed to age it out. You can age out Taiwan. That means you can let the last succession of Taiwanian leaders have whatever they have at that island, and then start phasing it out like Hong Kong, right? Because that's the right thing to do. We don't have to like every country that we're going to do, but what we should need to stop doing is stop pretending that it's good for the geese and the gander, not good for us. If we want something to be a certain way, then we have to also tell everybody else it has to be the same way. And I just think this whole idea of us, the big old United States, the youngest country in the world, going and always telling everybody else what is and what isn't their land just because we have nuclear warheads needs to stop. We need to look at the world differently. We need to look at it an approach from not some big geo-global realm where we're all like integrated constantly, but from a business perspective, the world can run more efficiently if you allow the world to run more efficiently. The people who farm, the people who mine, the people who build computers, and China's never going to not want to build computers, but I'm going to be honest, their technology, their engineering, what they do, it's a little bit bigger than us. And the reason it's bigger than us in the United States of America is because everybody who governs in the United States of America is a pretentious son of a bitch who only gives a fuck about themselves. I would like, even Mondami, I'm not fooled by him. I'm not fooled by him at all, okay? He's just the better choice of the two evils. But we shall see whether he actually does things to bring the people together and help the people in a common approach, or if he just sides with one group of people over another side of the group of people. What I think is important is you can find balance and you can find cohesion in the middle. Nobody always gets their way in America. That's something we're always taught. Nobody always wins. It's okay to lose sometimes, but at the top, at the political elite, and in our government, they act like they can't win, and really they're the biggest giant set of babies that we currently have. The U.S. must not take Greenland, and it should respect Denmark or whatever country owns it. I don't care. And figure out a way to commingle and figure out a way to de-escalate and find ways to stop finding adversaries. China doesn't want war. Russia doesn't want war. Russia wants people to stop impeding on its territory. And so if you just look at how we have fences and we have ring cameras and everybody in America wants to be safe and secure, and California has more gated communities than any other state in the country, even though it's the bluest country, that's not odd. It has more gates than any other community in the United States of America, but it's the bluest state. We can stop looking at everybody as criminals and have-nots or have-wants and find a way to get along. I think the Chinese people love us. I think the Japanese people love us. I think a lot of people in the world love America, and they love us because we are free. We have ingenuity. We have drive. We have pursuit. And we have the ability to accomplish anything we want. But what we shouldn't be trying to be accomplishing is to see how big of a bully we can be and how big of a dictator we can be. I think it's time for all this talk of invasion. I think it's time for Maduro to go home, let him go back home. And I just think it's time for our government to start focusing on us, the American people. I'm Rob. Have a good night. Bye for now.